Kind of like this design. I would love to make my own exercise bike. Kids should all try to be like Larry. Best desk bike for a big guy. Bike. Press return. Under. Press space. Press return. not a fat slob. Stop listening. Pedal exerciser. Wake up. Pedal exerciser. Press return. Look at the size difference. Stop listening. You can see there's a huge difference in size from that pedal to that pedal. I want my knees to come up high. I don't want it to be a stubby little thing. This is too small. We're all too small.
Is a perfect solution to fit exercise into your busy schedule. Place your feet in the straps to hold your feet in place and simply begin pedaling with your feet while seated for a lower body workout, strengthening your legs, hips, thighs, and buttocks. Or place the cycle on a desk or tabletop for an effective upper body workout to strengthen your arms, shoulders, and back. The battery-operated monitor keeps you on track and motivated by timing your workout. During your workout, adjust the tension to vary the intensity and to burn more calories. It's compact and weighs only 9 pounds, so it's easy to take with you to the office or to store away when not in use.
Why don't you guys help me shop? What's a good bike for someone that wants a big, good bike for under their desk? I read reviews that said most of these are all too small. Like, okay. You know how a normal bike, your knees come up almost to the handlebars? With these, your knees would come up like 2 inches. They're ridiculously small. I want a full range of motion. I want my legs I want the pedals to be much, this part, I want it to be longer. Like, I want it to come up to here. And these little things are only like 4 inches. I want mine to be like 5 inches wide so I can fit my feet in. The whole thing is way too small. And then if you get a longer shaft here, then this has to be longer too. Does that make sense? What's the real thing? What do you mean, what's the real thing? What's the real best recumbent bike? I don't want one for under my desk, honestly. Stop listening. I'm not going to use it under my desk. My desk is way too low to bike under the desk. I'm not going to be using it under a desk. I'm going to scoot back from my desk to use it. Don't expect to use it under my desk. Absolutely not. Who has a desk tall enough to ride a bike under it? That's retarded. And I want to have a full range of motion. Imagine if your legs are moving at such a tiny little range of motion, it's just going to cramp up your knees. It's going to be bad for your body. You need to have a larger range of motion, maybe even bigger than a normal bike, in order to really stretch out your legs, bend them, get a full exercise. That's like doing, instead of doing bicep curls like this, all the way up and all the way down, it's like doing this. That's just going to mess up your muscles and make your joints stiff. I want something where I'm going to be bending my knees a lot, stretching my legs out all the way. It's just like 3 times the size of these desk bikes in terms of range of motion. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half right here and right here, and add in like a 4-inch extension to this bar right here. I'm going to cut it in half right here, and add in like a 3-inch or 3.5-inch extension on the pedal. That way, my pedal will be like this big, like way bigger. Everyone else can take their little tiny pedals. Mine's going to be a large, big stroking pedal. I might need to make these foot steppers cut in half and make them wider so I can fit my feet in. I have wide feet. I'm a big guy. So with all those mods, as long as I know the tensioner and this is stable with a good bearing system and it's not loud, and the intensity can be set really high, those are my quirks. I don't want something where it's going to overheat and fall apart inside here, because I want to use it with medium to highish intensity and have the same level of resistance as if I were riding my bike outside. I don't want something where if I try to pedal hard it's going to break it. Also, I'm more than happy to connect a belt to the front and then connect that to my chair so that it won't slide forward when I press hard on it. I want to press hard. I want to put so much. I want to put. Okay, I can describe it in pounds of pressure. I want to put 40 to 50 pounds of pressure onto it. So if I were laying on my back, outstretching my legs, I would want to lift 40 to 50 pounds. That's how hard I'm going to be pressing on it. So this tensioning system has to be really robust and have a cooling system as well. I guess I could put a heat sink on it and put a fan on it in order to keep this area from overheating. I don't care about the warranty. If I'm going to be modding it this extensively, it's just... the point of it is just to buy something that gets me started rather than building it from scratch. It's just to save me some time. Plus, I guess there always is the tiny, tiny chance that I start using it and I'm like, you know what, it's fine as it was, and the way I was envisioning things was wrong, and I'm actually happy to leave it as it is stock. And that could save me a lot of time if that happened to happen. Although I think that's very unlikely. It could possibly happen, and so it's worth the shot because it could save me many hours of work if that were to happen. This looks like a decent sized guy. Look how small that is! Hell no! I don't want my feet moving. Look at how small his range of motion is on the pedal. I don't want my pedal strokes to be like this. I want them to be like this. Like a normal bike at least. That's ridiculous. Look how small this thing is. Oh my gosh. That's so stupid. Look how... okay, look at his knees. I want my knee to come up to here. I don't want my knee to come as high as that. This is how low your knee comes. I want this knee to be almost fully extended. You're telling me that Zwift is for serious people? For serious training. Press return. Desk cycle. Press return. This is what I've been thinking about a lot, connecting mine to an alternator and using it to generate power. Stop listening. I don't look like a balloon! Mm.
To film a quick video. I'm currently in a blog series about how I lost 60 pounds, and it was they currently run around $160, I believe. But I also purchased an extra little remote thing here as well, which we can show you here. It's basically keeping track of. There's my distance, 17 miles. There's my time, which is 160 minutes. And here is my calories I burned, I guess, 632 calories. So pretty good. Now here's the secret though. As you can see, I'm on a laptop right now, I'm working. So I'm actually doing my job while I'm pedaling and I'm burning calories. So I've got my mouse here. I've got this this great little Mainstays brand mobile desk that I bought from Walmart. It was about $35, I think, or it might have been 40 from Walmart. Took a few minutes to assemble, and you can raise it and lower it, as well as you can see here, you can pivot the desk surface as well. So as you can see, I have a very professional setup that is very comfortable, and yet I am cycling and burning calories. So now one thing about the Amazon desk cycle is that it's very quiet. I'm going to be quiet so you can hear that. Obviously, on a conference call for work or doing anything, or even if you just wanted to do this while you're watching TV, it's not going to disturb you at all. It's very quiet. It also has a magnetic drive. Now, a magnetic drive means that there's no belts, so there's really nothing to wear out. And so it's very quiet, and it's also very smooth because of that. So I love this Amazon desk cycle purchase. I think they only sell through Amazon as a company, Desk Cycle. They have a really cool website as well, deskcycle.com. So anyway, what I've got, if you can see down below, I've got a brown mat that I bought also from Walmart. Obviously Walmart's pretty close to where I am. But it has a rubber mat on the bottom. So that rubber mat actually really helps to grip. Now I personally also put the desk cycle against my outer wall, which means that I can also, look out into my front yard and have a little bit of the scene, pretty peaceful as I'm working doing my job, which is nice. Now, one thing I do recommend for your desk cycle, I have tested this out, and you can pedal from a couch, but I personally use this large chair that we just had. It's a pretty heavy, it's a nicer chair, but it's a really heavy chair. It's also a very wide chair. I just, bought this brown towel, kind of matches my decor in here, and just, protected the chair from sweat and that kind of thing. When you first do this, you might be a little bit out of breath. you might be, you might sweat a little bit. You probably will sweat a little bit doing this. Eventually you'll get used to it and you won't sweat, and it's pretty easy. In fact, I actually don't know that I'm pedaling when I'm doing it. In fact, I'll be on a conference call and I will have hit my, number of what I wanted to, the number of hours I wanted to pedal for the day. Because I'm still sitting here, I will involuntarily start to pedal, and I'll pedal for the whole conference call and not even realize it. It's so involuntary for me now, and I've been doing this for, I guess, about 14, 15 months maybe, I think, for the death cycle. So
He's been doing it for over a year and he's still got big breasts. Oh, but he said he started out really fat.
I'm currently in a blog series about how I lost 60 pounds. I've probably
Lost
lost
60
weight
pounds.
in about a year and a half, so it's kind of a slow process. But a lot of my weight loss, sort of the tricks have been very passive weight loss approaches. So I'm going to show you one of the passive approaches that
Wiki with a list. Starting off our list at number 10. If you want a bare bones machine that gets the job done without a bunch of bells and whistles, the Stammer InStride is a great choice. It has a battery operated monitor, so you don't have to worry about cords, and the rubber feet keep it from moving all over the place. It takes up very little space and has an old freezing resistance adjustment. However, the pedaling motion is choppy. At number 9, the Fit Desk Under Desk has a rotation height of only 8 inches, so it can fit under almost any desk or table, even one standing about 2 feet tall. Its foot shifter allows for hands-free tension adjustment, so you can easily ramp up the intensity when needed. It includes a built-in massaging roller that doesn't cause your knees to hit the desk, but it tends to slide when in use. Coming in at number 8 on our list, the Drive Medical Deluxe costs a fraction of the price of most desks and machines, so don't expect it to be top of the line. It's a compact, reliable unit though that helps burn calories, and is especially good for elderly users or those rehabbing from injury. It comes with anti-slip rubber pads and is foldable for easy storage. However, the pedals are incredibly small. Our newest choices can only be seen at wiki.easybit.com. Go there now and search for desk ellipticals, or simply click beneath this video. At number 7, if you want to give yourself toned arms as well as chiseled legs, the Stammer InMotion Strider has attached resistance bands that allow you to do curls, triceps extensions, and more while you pedal. The handles are padded so the only edge you'll get are good ones. It includes a workout DVD and is excellent for high-intensity cardio, but its short stride makes balancing hard. Moving up our list to number 6, getting in better shape doesn't do any good if it makes your productivity suffer, which is why Dustin Health and Fitness Twister Stepper is so great for the office worker. The oversized foot plate allows for mindless stepping so you can focus on the task at hand. It targets glutes and thighs and won't put stress on your joints. However, the friction causes it to heat up. Halfway up our list at number 5, the Joyfit Under Desk Mini works just as well standing as seated, so you can get a steady workout while you're on the clock and then dial up the intensity on your lunch break. It tends to squeak though, so your co-workers might complain if you don't keep it oiled. It comes with a convenient carrying handle and is easy to assemble, but it is too short for taller users. At number 4, the QB Smart connects the phones via Bluetooth to track all your measurables, so you can easily brag to everyone else in the office about how far you pedaled today. It also comes with stoppers that enable you to use it even if your chair has casters on it. Its design promotes a healthy posture, and it allows you to compete with friends, plus it doesn't put stress on your knees. Nearing the top of our list, number 3, the Compact Stamina InMotion can be pedaled in either direction, allowing you to target different muscle groups and alternate between them a rest. This allows for constant exercise, so you can enjoy steady, noticeable fat loss without a ton of effort. It features non-slip pedals that can be used with bare feet. It's sturdy and doesn't wobble. Our newest choices can only be seen at wiki.
DIY. Wake up. DIY. Stationary bike. Resistance.
The Form 2 is the most used professional 3D printer in the industry. Our
Because that fat slob had his on an 8. Stop listening. And he said he wasn't sweating. 8 was 8 out of 8 resistance for the dust cycle. I want to ride this thing with a tremendous sweating, use it for actual cardio, for intense 30-minute workouts, not all day, barely, or riding it for 5 hours to 6 hours a day without zero sweat. That's ridiculous. I want to sit here and I want to go hard. Pedal it 4 to 6 miles in half an hour and be covered in sweat. That thing's not going to cut it. No explanations, no diagrams, absolute piece of shit video that doesn't help me at all.
So we've got this Olympic cycling machine, exercise machine.
No, I'm going to use the underbike exercise while I'm not working for intense cardio during my daily workout during the winter. Instead of going out running or going out biking in the winter, I'm going to do my intense cardio 30 minutes a day right here while I stream. Now, I might consider, if it's very easy and convenient to set up, doing additional light cardio maybe one more time a day, like while I'm watching movies or while I'm eating dinner. And for that, one of these cheap little cycles might be fine when I'm just really not looking for an intense sweating or anything, just looking to do something really half-assed, just burning a little extra calories and getting some blood flow. Yeah, I would like to do a high interval intensity training routine with mine as well, yes, absolutely. Wake up. DIY exercise bike.
Doesn't stick to stainless steel. Doesn't stick to aluminum. It does stick to steel. But what's really neat with this bike is there's 6 magnets in there. I don't know if you can see them. 3 on each side. And the resistance is created by use of these magnets, and it creates an eddy current. You're probably wondering what an eddy current is. And when I first saw this, it blew my mind. So what we're going to do is demonstrate an eddy current using this copper tube and a magnet. So obviously, you know, that's gravity. Whoa, did you see that? Let's do it again. I'm going to drop it. Now, this isn't a trick. It's really neat. When I first saw this, I did it 50 times. Exactly what the braking system on the Schwinn magnetic resistance bikes is actually doing. So that's a little more information for you. Hope you liked it.
Okay guys, you saw it. Right here, stop listening. The magnetic resistance works like this.
Close to a metal flywheel. What that does is it controls the magnetic resistance. So when you think of magnetic resistance, a couple of the products that have it, say like the Torque Fitness tank that I've reviewed in the past, it allows you to have a knob that goes up and down. And what it does is it takes a magnet and brings it closer to a metal flywheel.
Look at slow motion. You can see an arm that has a bunch of neodymium magnets that actually are going to be moved closer to a steel wheel. Okay, so you can see a round magnet here, 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 and here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 magnets on a bar, which kind of looks like a brake pad. And as you increase the resistance, it just lines up those magnets more so with your flywheel. It's this big steel wheel. Now, that steel wheel, when it's lined up with the magnets, it wants to stick to the magnets so it gives more resistance. So the magnets give the resistance. you can have an unlimited amount of resistance just by adding more and more magnets. You could have magnets that aren't adjustable just for a steady baseline resistance that are always lined up with the wheel. And then you can have a group of magnets that are adjustable that line up with the wheel to increase the difficulty. These magnets want to stick to a certain part of the wheel that they're touching. So when you try to move the wheel, it won't want to. The magnet will want to just be stuck to the part of the wheel that it's pressed on at that given moment. So they create drag. That's your resistance system. Just buying a bunch of magnets, setting them up in a bracket system, and then having that bracket system be adjustable. So you can actually put the pedals right here directly onto this thing and just have the wheels there. So that's how you can create a magnetic resistance under desk bike. And that's what we want. So all we have to do is pull one of the designs. Stop listening. Yeah, I have to make my own. I'm looking for something that isn't on the market. Yeah, I know. So because I'm injured, I can't make my own while I'm injured. So that means I'm not going to be working out at all for the next 2 months. I guess I got my excuse. Like I said, the only underdesk exercise bikes that can go with your desk chair well, unless if I bought something like this and then just can like cut it right here, I could cut that off and just use this front part with my desk chair, so I get rid of this chair. Something like that. Press space. Press return. I can't do walks. I can't do something where... Stop listening. Where my shoulder is going to be jarred. Walking jars the shoulder. Also, there's nothing supporting the shoulder when you walk. Even wearing a sling, the shoulder would be swaying and all this stuff. I don't want that. Okay, I need to sit differently right now. My shoulder's starting to upset me. Oh. Oh. Oh, interesting. I got an idea, guys. What if you take a bike and you just cut it right here? Stop listening. You cut it right here, you cut it right here, you cut it right there, and then you use this V shape here as your stand, and you turn it upside down, and then the pedals are on top. The pedals are on top, and this V shape is already a built-in bearing and stuff. So basically you turn a bike upside down and it becomes a recumbent bike. But you cut off here, you get rid of the seat, you get rid of this part, you get rid of this part, you get rid of that part, you get rid of the wheels, you get rid of everything except just the bike pedal and then these two bars, which you then need to lock into the floor. That seems good. And then you just have to add resistance to that. Which, as I said, you can do easily just by adding sheet metal to this flywheel and then putting magnets on that, neodymium magnets, that will make the sheet metal not want to turn. The only problem is you'd have to buy a bike and mod the bike, basically, but getting rid of the wheels. No, what I'm saying is this will be something I use year-round to ride my bike with high intensity. We're talking real cardio workouts from my office chair. This way I don't have to go outside to work out at all, ever, unless if it's a really nice day and I just prefer to ride my bike outside for the scenery and the sunlight and stuff. But this will enable me to have high intensity cardiovascular workouts year-round, especially when the weather's bad, from my chair. And I'm talking workouts that would make Lance Armstrong feel like it was adequate. Workouts where you'll have a chiseled six-pack at the end. Yeah, I need to start out with a bike. I can do this. Look at this. So let's say if you picture, oh, you know what? I got a way to show you guys exactly what I mean, because I overestimate your guys' ability to visualize things. You guys can't visualize anything because you're not inventors, you're not visual thinkers like me. I've honed my ability to visualize things for many years, and that's why I'm able to do robotics and inventions and stuff. I can see it all in my mind. Alright, so check it out. Basically, I need something as an under desk bike, except not really under desk, but an office chair bike system where, I mean, unless if I make my desk really tall, I could still use it under desk, but we'll see about that. I don't mind scooting back from the desk a bit to use it. So we're just keeping these three poles from a standard bike frame. And then we're turning it upside down. And then we just got to add okay. You know what? I don't even think we need the center support. Yeah, we can get rid of the center support too. That's pretty cool. You guys see where I'm getting at? And then for the... So my desk chair would be right here. And... There is no chain. Where do you see a chain here? There's no chain. So we've got upside down V welded into two crossbars with rubber end caps. We've got, this came from a bike just flipped upside down. We took the steel framework, the bearing system, and the flywheel system. But our flywheel won't be connected to a chain at all. Our flywheel, we will weld sheet metal over the whole thing. Weld it or epoxy it so that the whole thing will become just a flat sheet of metal on both sides. Not fast enough for me. I'm so much faster just drawing pencil drawings. I probably should have just done it that way. I don't know. Anyways, so it's now a sheet metal flywheel. And now, think of it like a car rotor. You could put brake caliper style braking, but then that would create a lot of powder and squeaking too. Well, maybe not squeaking. Brakes aren't squeaky. But, what we're going to have though is what amounts to being sort of like a caliper, which is, a series of neodymium magnets. I think like four, maybe a couple more over here. And those will be on their own bracket. What these magnets will do is they will stick to the flywheel, which is going to be steel, and make it want to prevent from turning. Now it's not a friction based, it's a magnetic eddy current based braking system. So the magnet wants to stick to the metal wherever it's touching. So when you turn it, there's not necessarily much contact at all, so there's no squeaking. And everything inside here is built on the original bearings, so it's all very well lubricated, very smooth, very greased up. But these brackets will prevent turning to some extent. They will make the wheel not want to turn. Now, these will have to mount to here. And here, because they're not actually connected to the flywheel. They're mounted to the frame. They don't move. The only part that moves is the gray flywheel and the bike pedals. So as you pedal, there's a magnetic resistance happening. We do have to make sure that the pedals extend outward slightly enough to give clearance for these magnets. Otherwise the pedals would hit the magnets and stop. So in other words, we have to make sure that the bike pedal is like this more. And there's clearance. The gap between here must have clearance. I have a Wacom graphics tablet. So that clearance gap where the pedal comes outward from the rotor has to be wide enough to where the pedal and the rotor have, you know, like an inch of gap to allow these resistance magnet brackets to not hit the pedal as the pedal passes by. And I think all this is great. Pretty much a couple sawings. I'm pretty sure these could be 3D printed brackets that just have compressions where you can just hot glue in some neodymium magnets. You will have to glue on some sheet metal to your rotor in order to have the magnets stick to something really nice, flat surface. And the 3D printed brackets can then be glued on or fiberglassed on. You should probably fiberglass over it and fiberglass over that, and then wrap the fiberglass over the frame. And then this part of the frame can just be welded onto this part for one solid piece. And yeah, this would be really solid, nice wide base. You can really press hard and pedal hard. And the amount of resistance could be determined just by how many neodymium magnets you add here. You can add as many as you want. To make the resistance variable, you'd simply have one of these calipers be able to rotate outward so that the magnets aren't lined up with the flywheel, but they're maybe only halfway onto it. So you could just manually lift it away from it. And you could have a levering system in order to have it turn away a little bit. Or just like a dial here where you can just crank it and then these magnets will slide away from it so that they're only catching the edge of it a little bit, and then it'd be much lower resistance. And then this one would be solid with it to give you a baseline resistance where you wouldn't want to be under that at any time per se. Now you could connect a chain to it and bring that out here or bring that downward and connect that to an alternator in order to harvest power from your biking. But then for it to actually save my dad money, I would have to connect my alternator to lines that then go through an inverter, converting it to AC, and then I'd have to connect that AC up to the garage where I keep a car battery or a battery bank, a power wall that I charge, and then have that power wall somehow feed into the electrical mains for the house. Switching off the electrical mains on certain circuits or subsidizing it somehow. It just would get very complicated and unrealistic in my opinion. So I'm not going to be harvesting the energy. I'm just going to be using magnetic resistance to waste energy. Are there any questions or concerns or confusion? So I can get all this for the price of pretty much destroying my bike or buying a bike and modding it. Unless if I just want to create all this from scratch, but the problem with that is the bearings. This is all really finely engineered, where the pedals meet the flywheel and the bearing system, so that it's all very smooth and quiet. That would be the hard part to fabricate. I think you'd be so much better off, so much faster just to use an existing bike to get started. Why should this set the robot build back for years? Do you guys not see how incredible this is? So it's a variable resistance, hardcore, under desk bike cardio machine. There is absolute top-notch engineering because you're using an outdoor actual bike as your base. You're going to get a full range of motion as far as pedaling. You're not going to have very minimal pedaling like you'd otherwise be getting. You're going to get your knees up high. You're going to have large pedal strokes. And you're going to have full extension of the bottom leg, high knees with the other leg, getting nice range of motion in order to keep your knees loose and lubricated. A nice long base. Notice how wide it is. It's going to be like 4 feet long, so that it can press up against a wall out on this side. A wall could be here, or you could just have some boxes or whatever extending the wall up to it so that it's not going to push forward when you pedal on it. And you can also connect a belt from here to the bottom of your chair to make sure your chair doesn't slide back when you press hard. This thing's designed to be for intense cardio. We're talking Lance Armstrong could do this from his office chair and get ready for a Tour de France. That level. We're not talking about some sissy 80-year-old grandma under desk bike machine that works on friction and gets overheated and starts to fall apart if you were to pedal too hard. We're talking about something where you can get a serious cardiovascular workout. No joking around. We're talking Olympic level training, all from your office chair. The $45 ones on Amazon have a distance from the center of rotation, which is right here. Center of rotation is right here, to the pedal of about this far. So maybe 2/5 the height you want for a full, athletic, large range of motion bike, where you're getting your knees fully bent and fully stretched out throughout the cycle. I think that's much better to lubricate the joints and get your range of motion rather than these tiny little pedal strokes like causing your legs to feel all cramped up and locked up. And with this, you can get extreme levels of resistance. There is no limit to the amount of resistance I could get. I could put more and more and more magnets until it gets super hard to pedal, where you'd have to be an Olympic trained athlete or NFL player just to get it to turn. So there is no limit to how much resistance, while not sacrificing anything in terms of the overall size of the device, weight of the device, anything. It's just neodymium magnets. They're very lightweight, but they're strong. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be making this thing until my arm's better. but you can clearly see how excellent it is. Let me just draw in my crotch a little bit here. Let's see, so you would see here, like I said, this isn't just for rehab, this is a solution for indoor cardio in a space-constricted area. Another benefit would be if we added hinges here and here, so it can fold up for better storage. So that's where the hinges could be, and you can see this would all fold up really nice and tight in a nice little bundle. Surprised nobody complimented me on how nice my drawing skills were. I think I did a good job drawing the shoes and stuff. I think this product would work, guys, and it's just almost entirely built from a bike. Just a couple little modifications and a bike turns into this. This is the V, the standard V underneath the bike. But I cut out this center one that would have went to the bike seat, and this goes to the rear wheel, and it's just flipped upside down. I'm not going to settle for something off Amazon where the resistance is so low that I'm not getting my heart rate up and I'm not getting a sweat. Where I don't have the option to increase the resistance in any meaningful way either. Unless if I retrofitted a flywheel with magnetic discs to the Amazon-based one. That is interesting. And then I modify the Amazon-based one to give me a full pedal range of motion by making the pedals longer and the stand taller. I could add a belt or chain connecting to the flywheel of the Amazon-based one, or a sprocket. I could add a sprocket to the axle and then connect that sprocket to my own flywheel that has the magnetic resistance. So then I could increase the resistance infinitely, just using theirs for the structure. And I could do that for purchasing the cheapest one, like a $17 one. Mod the Amazon one. Because otherwise I'm modding a bike. The only thing is, though, the Amazon one might not have bearings. I'm going to need a bearing system for sure, because I think the Amazon ones just have the axle just running through the frame. And then they just have a tensioner which just shoves a brake onto that, and it's just a friction based. And you're not allowed to pedal it that hard, and the friction is minimal. Which is fine if we're adding our own friction system to it to modify it and make you capable of getting much higher resistance training for more rigorous workout. However, and increasing the size, of course. However, you don't have the bearing system. So over time, it's just going to wear itself out very quickly because there's no bearing on the axle. And that's my biggest concern. Without a bearing on the axle, you will grind away that system so quickly, and it's just going to generate a lot of heat, and it's going to start squeaking horribly. It's going to wear itself out very quickly. It might be fine for grandma pedaling at 2 miles per hour, but if I want to pedal at 25 or 30 miles per hour with tremendous resistance for half hour a day and then do some more light casual pedaling maybe for an hour or two at night when I'm watching movies, I'm just going to wear that thing out so fast. That's why I think having a bike to start out with is a much better strategy. I think the bike would be less work as far as getting something that can handle the huge amount of strain you're putting onto it. It's really designed to handle that amount of strain. I'm talking about pedaling like this. Serious pedaling here. Imagine high intensity, high resistance, building up your legs. All from indoors. Weather independent. Yes, you could buy an exercise bike, but then where are you going to fit that in a basement? This thing folds up and slides under your bed or whatever, and it goes with your existing office chair, so it's taking up less room. I mean, I could Frankenstein a bike I already own, but my dad bought those bikes for us to use, and we use them. We ride our bikes outside. My wife and I do. I ride my bike outside on nice days. Wouldn't have a backup bike anymore. Unless if we bought a magnetic recumbent bike and just took the chair off. If you look here, these are probably designed for hardcore cardio, like this. You might see this at a gym. And what I'm proposing would be just to cut off that bar and take the whole seat off, and then just keep the bike part. That's not a bad move. How much are we talking? Also, it'd probably take up a lot more room that way, unless if I could find a model where it's kind of... You know what? I need to be looking on Amazon so I can get reviews. I think this is the route we need to go, guys. It's only $100. You get the whole bike. You can just take the seat off. This is the way to go. We buy the whole bike, but then we retrofit it to our office chair as the chair. And then we get a real bike. None of this 80-year-old grandma crap. My wife said she'd pay half. I told you guys 120 was my budget. I didn't think I'd need to get up in those numbers, but it turns out I do. Ooh, 102. Holy crap, $80 used and free shipping. So that's like $40 for the bike. Hey, thanks for the sub, Funky Beat. I can totally see this, guys. This is the way to go! Oh, I'm so glad I did it this way. I just connect this thing right here at the vertical, I connect it to my office chair. So instead of this uncomfortable chair, I have my comfy custom office chair. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is gonna work, guys. You know what? If the maximum resistance is not enough for me, I know how to add more magnets, for sure. I can definitely add resistance, for sure. Because I know this thing's going to have a flywheel and stuff inside it. I can't. Oh, I don't even want. I just want to buy it right now. Yeah, you can definitely add resistance, but people don't know how. Okay, guys, I'm doing it. I'm buying a magnetic recumbent exercise bike, and I'm just going to take the seat off. I'm doing it. I just bought it! Oh. I don't believe it, man. I don't believe it. I'm going to be able to work out now. On stream. With a bike connected to my office chair. I bought a recumbent fitness bike. So it's basically a real exercise bike that's designed to be like sitting back in a chair. Recumbent means like laying back. Like my office chair. And I'm going to connect the bike part to my office chair and then get rid of that chair or use it for something else or whatever. I bought it used. So it was only $80, which is about double what these cheap piece of crap, non-serious, under-desk workout devices would require, which is about $40. This one was double that, but I'm gaining a full range of motion like a bike. Fitness center quality, and I'm gaining magnetic resistance instead of friction-based resistance. You can go full speed without burning out the machine and making the axle overheat and parts start breaking. So this is designed for real workouts with athletes, not 80-year-old grandmas pedaling under a desk. I'm so pleased with this purchase. This was such a fantastic solution. Because I was getting very close to just making my recumbent bike. But I just dodged a bullet there, saving myself countless hours of work trying to make my own. Now I'm going to have one shipped to me and it's going to work. So for that, I realize I'm searching desk bike, but I should be searching recumbent fitness bike. Recumbent means sitting how I am right now. It means sitting in a reclined position. Recumbent means reclined. And these bikes come with a seat that is much like this chair I'm sitting in now, where you're kind of leaning back like I am, and you ride a bike while you're in it. So my idea was I'd buy a bike like that, but then just detach the seat that comes with it and connect the bike to my office chair. And in that way, I'll have a bike. And I also realized I could just connect it to this chair and still have the wheels of the chair, so I can still scoot back and get up, and I can still rotate the chair left and right. But that bike part will just be kind of in the way of my feet at all times. And I think I'll get used to that. Hopefully. I mean, that's a little scary. Or I don't know. I'm probably going to have to get used to it. I'll actually have to get used to putting my legs around it or under it. From time to time, I might want to put my legs up on top of it, use it as footrest. I'm just going to have to get used to it because I really want it to stay there permanently. Oh, by the way, the desk bike I bought cost $160 retail. So it's a lower end model, but pretty decent. It's still like a nice, decent one. It's not like incredible, but it's 100 times better than these crappy under desk bikes. It's an actual fitness bike, not a rehab bike that doesn't do crap. Where you have to move your feet really small and really slow like this. I want something where I'm riding it. I bought it used. They actually had one in stock that was used for $79.99, so I bought that one. My wife agreed to pay half, so after taxes, my portion was only $42. She's going to pay me the other $42. So for $42, I now have access to intense cardiovascular training year-round from this chair, and I don't have to go outside anymore and freeze my butt off just to work out and have to put on coats and all this stuff. Yeah, I wanted one for a real workout, not for an old man just not really doing a whole lot. Now granted, I want to be able to use it at a low resistance setting for a casual old man style workout. For my non-workout part of the day, bonus workouts. So like, I can use it while watching a movie and just ride the bike the whole time for 2 hours extra. This is in addition to my normal weightlifting and intense cardiovascular workout where I'm getting pouring down sweat and I have to take a shower after. This is just for casual, slow, minimal calorie burn, but something which adds up. If you're doing this every day when you watch TV or just slowly riding a bike, boom. That's going to make a huge difference. That's a lot of extra weight loss. It's 100 calories an hour at a really low intensity like that. That adds up. That's 200 calories a day you get to add onto your diet. That's half a bowl of ice cream. I mean, that adds up. Really gives you a little more wiggle room in your weight loss journey. And it's really not a hassle at all. You don't have to get up or anything. You just scoot back your chair a little bit away from your desk. And because it's connected to the front of your chair, it pulls away from the desk with you. And you just start pedaling. It's going to be great. I'm so excited.